in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara in this dunya, and his shafa'ah, his intercession in the world to come, with the blessings of Allah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Sajdah, verse 24, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. And we have made of them imams to guide by our command when they were patient and they were certain of our communications. This holy verse is one of the verses that discusses the principle of imamate and some of the characteristics and qualities of an imam. What are the qualities of the imam? These qualities are mentioned in numerous verses of the Holy Quran. In this holy verse, verse 24 of Surah Al-Sajdah, it mentions two important qualities and characteristics of an imam. Two key characteristics which qualifies a person to be an imam. These two qualities are the quality of patience, lamma sabaru, and the quality of certainty in Allah's communications, Allah's signs, Allah's revelation. وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. Let us look into the quality of patience. Patience, which is the first characteristic, the first quality that is mentioned in this verse, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he divides patience into three types. It is narrated that he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, الصبر ثلاثة صبر عند المصيبة وصبر على الطاعة وصبر عن المعصية. Patience is of three types. Patience at time of affliction, at time of a tragedy. Patience in regards to obedience, and patience in regards to disobedience. What are these three types of patience that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned in this holy hadith? Patience at times of a tragedy or at times of affliction, at times of a calamity. As-sabr ala al-musiba. One should be patient when a tragedy happens, either to himself, to a family member, to a relative, to a friend, to a community member. Even if a tragedy happens, in the community, so on and so forth. One should not say something that would lessen his or her faith. One should not complain against the will and destiny of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One should accept the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If one, for example, faced the death of a loved one, of a near relative, would this person complain and say, why Allah did you take him so young? Why Allah did you take him away right now? Why did you make him die at this moment? Will you complain on Allah? Or will you say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un? Death is a reality. We are all going through this path. Inshallah, this person will go to Jannah, so on and so forth. How will you react? One who complains on Allah, one who would say, why Allah did you do this? Does not have patience during the times of a tragedy or a calamity. And one who prays and says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, and accepts it, even though he's in pain, but he accepts it because this is Allah's decree, then this person has patience during the time of a tragedy. If one goes through an accident, for example, a car accident, will he get out and complain, oh Allah, why did this happen to me today? complaining on Allah? Or will he say, Alhamdulillah, at least I am safe? You know? So the way one reacts during a tragedy, if he complains on Allah, then he does not have patience over tragedy. If he prays to Allah, does not complain, endures it, then he would have that type of patience. This is the first type. There is patience in regards to obedience. As-sabru ala ta'a. One should be patient and offer all the obligations that are commanded by the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know that there are a number of obligations that we must submit to Allah and act upon them. Salah is wajib, fasting is wajib, hajj is wajib, khumus, zakah, amr bil ma'roof, nahi an munkar. There are a number of obligations that we must do, that we must abide by. We must do it. We must act upon it. Sometimes these obligations can sometimes be difficult. Those who got the tawfiq to go to Hajj, they realize how much physical stress and work that needs to be done. The tawaf, the sa'i, the being in Arafat, in Muzdalifah, Rami al-Jamarat, so on and so forth. It requires great physical endurance, ability, strength. Sometimes a person might get really tired from all the a'mal that he or she must do. If one does them properly, even though he endures that pain, then he has sabr ala ta'a, patience in regards to obedience. Another example, when it's the time for Salatul Fajr, in a cold winter night, and the heat is not on, and the heater is not on, it's cold, and you're in your warm bed under your blanket, and it's time for Salah. Would I wake up, feel that cold breeze, and go do wudu with that cold water and offer my 2 rak'ah prayer? Or it's too warm in this bed and let me go and sleep? If laziness overcomes me, then I don't have patience in regards to obedience. If I get up, I struggle against my lower self and actually get up and do wudu, even though it's tiring, even though it can be difficult, even though I don't like cold water and I don't like the cold weather and all that stuff, but I still do that to obey Allah, to thank Him, to pray for Him, then I have patience with regards to obedience. That's the second type of patience. The third type is what? Patience, as-sabru anil ma'siyah. Patience in regards to disobedience. I'm going to school. While I'm going to my school, my college, my university, a girl passed by. Do I lower my gaze or not? If I lower my gaze, I have patience in regards to disobedience. I control myself so I don't do haram. If I don't lower my gaze, then I don't have that type of patience. One should control himself to avoid any type of haram. I own a store. I have a business. And someone comes up who has no idea in this business. Would I cheat him? Or will I be honest? Someone in my job, I got a good job with a good offer, a good pay, many benefits, but there is some haram in this job. Will I take it or not? I am currently in a company, and I've been in this company for the past number of years. And I became, I went up the ladder, and now I'm a senior manager and so on. the company decided to introduce something haram. Will I sacrifice these 7 years, leave the company so I won't fall in haram? Or now dunya is beautiful in my eyes and I would try to find a leeway, or maybe even fall into haram just for the sake of having a few extra dollars. Sabr anil ma'asiyah. Patience in regards to disobedience. If one controls himself and does not commit haram, he has patience in regards to disobedience. If one does not control, then he does not have patience in regards to disobedience. Now, we looked at these various levels or types and kinds of patience. Remember, our topic is that this quality is one of the qualities of an imam. Quality of an imam. One who studies history in order to see who is the person who fits this role, who fits this status, who deserves this position, the position of imamate. When we look into history, let us look at the time of Jahiliyyah, at the time of ignorance era, the time just right before Islam, Arabia before Islam. There were some tribes who used to commit the crime of burying their own daughters alive. There were some tribes who used to bury their own daughters alive. Islam spoke against it. Quran spoke against it. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. Quran spoke against it. Islam spoke against it. But there were some tribes who used to commit this haram by burying their own daughters alive. When you ask them, why are you doing this? They'll give you some twisted reasoning. But they would say something like, well, you know how it is between tribes. One fights the other. And we're worried that sometimes in a battle, they might take my daughter and make her a slave to them. And this will bring us shame. So to avoid that shame that might come sometime in the future, what do? They commit the crime of burying their own daughters alive. What a twisted, way of thinking. So they committed the worst of the worst crimes. Now, one who buries his daughter alive, can we consider this person patient? One who cannot tolerate to bring up, to take care of his own daughter, do you think this person is fit to lead and take care of the ummah? Can he lead the nation? Can he lead the Muslims? For sure not. By the way, some of those prominent figures who came into Islam, they committed that crime in Jahiliyyah. So this is something to look into. Let's take another example. During the Battle of Uhud, there were several battles between the Muslims and the Meccan polytheists, Quraysh. During the Battle of Uhud, when the army of the Mushrikeen came from behind under the leadership of Khalid ibn al-Walid, and they attacked the Muslims from behind by surprise, what happened? All of the Muslims ran away for their lives. They stopped, they didn't defend the Prophet, they didn't defend Islam, they didn't protect the Prophet, they all ran away, with the exception of one person. None other than Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He alone stood defending Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in this battle. Everyone ran away. One of them ran away for 3 whole days. When he came back to Medina, the Prophet told him, لَقَدْ ذَهَبْتَ بِهَا عَرِيضًا. People run away for an hour or 2. 3 whole days running away? Come on. Now those who ran away from the battle and ran away from defending and protecting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, can you consider those people patient? are they fit to lead the ummah? Leadership takes courage and bravery. If they leave the essence of Islam, isn't Islam shahadatain, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he symbolizes Islam. They left him alone without protection under danger. Do you think those people are fit for leadership? For sure not. Only Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam was the one who remained defending Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in that most difficult circumstance. So it is important that when one wants to discuss the subject of imamate and wants to look at the qualities of an imam in the Holy Quran, study the ayat with reflection. The Quran said that one of the qualities is patience. So someone who does not have patience does not deserve to be an imam, even if they did it once in their lifetime. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also promised a lot of rewards for those who are patient. Their rewards are uncountable. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Only the patient ones will be paid back their rewards in full without any measure. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. The second point that this ayah talks about, وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ, certainty. They had certainty in our communications, in our signs, in our revelation. Certainty is also a very high position that is not something easy to have or easy to get. There are also various levels of certainty, various levels of yaqeen. The first level is aynul yaqeen, the knowledge of, ilmul yaqeen, the knowledge of certainty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ilmul yaqeen, the knowledge of certainty, which is certain and permanent conviction. To simplify these levels, let me give an example. There is the level of ilmul yaqeen, knowledge of certainty. Then there is a level that is higher, which is haqqul yaqeen, the truth of certainty. And there is a level that is even higher, which is aynul yaqeen, the essence of certainty, or certainty itself. If you see fire in front of you, you don't see fire. Do you all know that fire burns the skin? Does anyone disagree with the fact that fire actually burns the human skin? We all agree on that. We all have that information. We all consider it a fact. Does anyone have any doubt that fire would burn the skin? Putting your hand in fire would not burn your skin? Does anyone have doubt in this? No. So we all have what is called ilmul yaqeen, the truth of certainty. The knowledge of certainty. Ilmul yaqeen, the knowledge of certainty. Now we all know that fire burns the skin. Do we all believe in something called akhirah? Yes, because we believe in the Quran, we're Muslims, very good. And we believe there is eternal reward and eternal punishment, heaven and hell. And hell is what? Fire. And we know fire burns the skin, right? Did this knowledge stop us from committing sins? How many Muslims you see? They believe in the Day of Judgment. They believe that fire burns. No one doubts that. Yet did it stop us from committing a sin? There is a level that is higher. Haqqul yaqeen, the truth of certainty. When one actually sees with his own eyes someone else being burnt in this fire. Someone else puts his hand in the fire in front of your eyes. And you see how they get burned. You see the burns on their skin. You see that with your own eyes. Did it change the original information that fire burns the skin? No. But didn't it have more impact on your heart, in your heart? Just by seeing it with your own eyes, even though you already know about it. It didn't add any new information. You know that fire burns the skin. But when you saw with your own eyes how it burned, it had a different impact on your heart. Right? It's different when you see things with your own eyes. That is why we call it what? It's a level higher. Haqqul yaqeen. Truth of certainty. Now a person who sees punishment with his own eyes, he would tend to be more reluctant in committing that sin. Right? If you see fire with your own eyes and people being burnt in it, wouldn't you be more reluctant in committing the sin? For sure you will be. For sure you will be. However, still there are many people who see that with their own eyes, yet they still commit a sin. I'll give you a worldly example. Do you all know that smoking harms? Smoking can kill? It harms? Very good. If you take a smoker to the hospital to show him or her how other smokers are being affected by lung cancer or other harms of smoking, and he sees with his own eyes how they're suffering, wouldn't it have more impact? But would it stop him from smoking? Well, maybe it won't happen to me. You know, it will still be kinda. It is different if one puts his own hand in fire, or one is in the midst of fire. At that moment, is there any doubt? Or isn't this the essence of certainty? Isn't this certainty itself? This is the highest level of certainty. If one feels the effects of hellfire, would he ever commit a sin? I'll give you an example. The Quran tells us, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Let's hear another salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. A third salawat for the love of Imam Hassan. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. The Quran tells us, right? The Quran tells us that one who eats the money of orphans oppressively is as if he's eating fire, as if he's putting fire into his belly. One who steals the money of orphans oppressively, unjustly, is as if he's putting fire into his belly, into his stomach. From the physical aspect, this $100 that is stolen from that orphan and the halal $100, does it look different? Or they're the same? From a physical aspect, they look the same. They look the same. But one who has aynul yaqeen, one who has the essence of certainty itself, he would not look at it in the same way. No, this $100 is different from that. This $100 that is halal has blessings in it. But this $100 that is stolen from the orphan, he sees the effect. It's as if I'm putting fire into my belly, into my stomach. Will this person ever think of stealing if he looks at the effect, if he looks at things in this way? He would not do that. He would not do that. The one who steals does not look at things in this way. Yes, he might believe. He might have ilmul yaqeen. He believes in the Quran. The Quran said it, okay. He has ilmul yaqeen, knowledge. But when he has certainty itself, when he has the essence of certainty, he would never ever commit that sin. Would you ever put your hand in fire, just willingly like that, for no reason? No, because you know it burns. You have aynul yaqeen with regards to this issue. with regards to this issue specifically. If one reaches to that stage, and this is a great stage, if one reaches to that level, having the essence of certainty, having certainty itself, then this person will never ever commit a sin. That is why Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam said, لَوْ كُشِفَ لِيَ الْغِطَاء مَزْدَدْتُ يَقِينًا. If the veils were removed, my certainty, my certitude would not increase. Why? Because he already reached the level of certainty itself, the level of the essence of certainty. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, our second Imam, he advises one of his loyal companions. His loyal companion, Junada, son of Ibn Abi Umayyah, who went to see the Imam during the final hours of his life, during the last hours of his blessed life, after he was poisoned by his wife, Ju'da bint al-Ash'ath. So during the last hours of the Imam's life, this faithful companion, Junada, asked the Imam for an advice. What kind of an advice the Imam is going to give at such a critical moment in his lifetime, when he's just about to pass away from this world. He gave a very long, informative, important advice. Amongst this advice, or amongst the things which he told him, is a line which I found particularly profound. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam said, O Junada, if you wish to be strong without having a tribe or a clan to back you and support you, and if you wish to have grandeur and greatness and respect without having the throne and the crown of a king, then leave the dark shadows of sins and disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and move towards the shades of Allah's obedience. The Imam is telling Junada, if you want all of Allah's creation to be submitted to you, then make sure you submit to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to gain respect, if you want to gain greatness, if you want to gain power, if you want to gain honor, all what you have to do is obey the Master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because true greatness, true honor, true wealth, true strength, true power belongs to Allah and Allah alone. Allah gives it to whoever He wishes. Allah gives it to whoever He wills. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, عبدي أطعني تكن مثلي أو مثلي تقل للشيء كن فيكون. My slave, my servant, obey me. You will have a power that is given by me, similar to me. You will say to things, be, and it will be. That power will be given to you by me. Just if you truly obey me and follow my commands. This is what Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam taught us. Now let us look at some of the qualities of this great Imam. Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi afdal salati wassalam. And let us take a lesson or two from it, which will benefit us in our day-to-day lives. Amongst the key qualities and characteristics of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam is the quality of patience and forbearance. Patience and forbearance. And these two moral qualities are very important with regards to self-control and self-restraint. Its root is one, and it is self-control. One who has these two qualities can go way, way far. There is a difference between the quality of patience and forbearance. Patience is to restrain your anger, to control your desire. However, forbearance is a level higher. It is to maintain your composure during the times of difficulties and not to be excessively angry nor excessively depressed. Hilm, forbearance, is a level higher than sabr, patience. Sometimes you might become angry, but you restrain your anger and do nothing. Sometimes you don't even show that you're angry. Your composure, nothing shows on your face. And you don't hold it in to the degree that you'll become excessively angry or excessively depressed. And this is not something easy to have. Imam Hassan alayhi salam was known to be the Imam of forbearance. Halimu Ahlil Bayt. He defined hilm to us. What does forbearance mean? According to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, forbearance is kadhmul ghaydi wa milkun nafs. The stifling, the control of wrath, and the control of oneself in a way where a reaction is not shown. Kadhmus al-ghaydi wa milkun nafs. Basically, control your anger in a way that nothing is shown. Nothing is shown outside. Imam al-Hassan also said, "I'lamu anna al-hilma zina." Know that forbearance is an adornment. It is an embellishment. In another well-known tradition, one day as Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam was walking in the streets of Medina, a man from Syria saw him. A man from Sham. He came to Medina, he saw him. He asked, "Is this Hassan ibn Ali?" People said, "Yes, this is Hassan ibn Ali. This is Imam al-Hassan." So he went and stood in front of the Imam. And he started swearing at our Imam, insulting our Imam, saying every type of foul and bad language that you can ever think of. He used all kinds of words. And he kept swearing at the Imam and saying all kinds of bad words. And the Imam remained quiet. Till the man finished. What do you think the Imam responded? Did the Imam fight back? Did the Imam beat him up? Did the Imam swear back at him? What did the Imam do? The hadith tells us, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, when this man finished all what he had to say, he said to him, first of all, "Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah." Assalamu alaikum. And he smiled at him. And he said, "It seems that you are a stranger here. It seems that you are not from the people of Medina." The man was surprised. He's like, "Okay, what do you want to say?" He's like, "If you are hungry, then we will feed you. We will offer you the best of food. If you are thirsty, we will quench your thirst with the best of drinks. If you are in need of clothing, we will provide clothing to you. The best of clothing can be provided by us. Whatever you need, I will provide it for you. I will give it to you. And if you accept my invitation and be my guest, come to my house and be my guest, I will be your host, and I will host you in my house as long as you stay in Medina. I'm not going to tell you leave. This is not the akhlaq of the Ahlul Bayt. Once you are a guest in our house, you remain our guest till you yourself decide to leave. Our house is big, the Imam continued to say. We live in a large house and we possess many means. That means we can serve you and we can take care of you. Taking care of you is not a problem for us at all. When the man heard the words of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, he began to cry. The attitude of this man changed completely, immediately. And he immediately said, I testify that you are truly the vicegerent of Allah on this earth. Allahu a'lam haythu yaj'al risalata. God truly knows best in what lineage to place his message. No one can handle people in the way Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam did. Then this man became the Imam's guest until he decided to leave Medina and go back to Syria. He ended up to be one of the faithful companions of Imam Hassan alayhi salam and remained a steadfast follower of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdal as-salati was-salam. Brothers and sisters, this story shows us how the Imam salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, how he transformed the life of a person who hated him into a person who is a true follower of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. How did he do it? Through the power of forbearance, through the power of hilm, through the power of restraining, controlling oneself in a way that even the composture of the body does not change. He showed no reaction of anger in regards to what this man said to him. Truly, this was one of the exemplary characteristics of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Brothers and sisters, don't we claim to be the Shia of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? Now put yourself in that situation. A person comes to you and swears at you, insults you. Are you going to, as some people said, kill them? Or if they swear with 2 words, you're going to reply with 4? Or are you going to punch them, beat them? Or are you going to act as Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam acted? We claim to be the Shia of Ali. Are we truly following the footsteps of Ali? This is what our Imams used to do. Shouldn't we start also practicing forbearance? Yes, I'm not saying in one day and night we're going to change. But shouldn't we start changing ourselves? Shouldn't we start working on it? Shouldn't we purify our mouths, purify our souls? This is the month of purification. This is the month of Ramadan. This is the month in which change should happen. Layal al-Qadr are coming up. This is the time in which we should make change. Reflect. Make a strategy. Think of what to do. Make an action plan and work on it. If you don't start now, when are you going to start? One day in the Battle of Siffin, as the 2 armies were in front of each other, the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the army of the truth, and the army of falsehood, the army of Muawiyah, the soldiers from the army of Muawiyah, they started insulting and swearing at the soldiers of the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So what did the soldiers from the army of Amir al-Mu'mineen do? They started swearing back at them. When Imam Ali alayhi salam heard them swearing, what did he say? He went and stopped them and said, إِنِّي أَكْرَهُ لَكُمْ أَن تَكُونُوا سَبَّابِينَ. I hate for you to be of those who insult and use swear words. Imam Ali alayhi salam is saying, I hate that. If we claim to be his Shia, then we cannot use swear words. Our mouth must be pure. We cannot use foul language. The Imam stopped them even though they were swearing at the enemies of Allah. The Imam said, no, don't swear at them. I hate for you to be of those who insult and swear. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Now it is important to point that la'an, cursing, is different from swearing, insulting, and sab. La'an and sab, there are 2 different terminologies. La'an, cursing, is a prayer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while sab is insulting and using foul and bad language. La'an is a dua, is an ibadah. cursing, swearing, using foul language, this is something that is haram and that is hated by the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to be amongst those who walk on the path of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam, who walk in the footsteps of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi afdalus salati wassalam. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to remain steadfast on the path of Islam. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to be true followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi, Thabbit qulubana ala dinak. O Allah, grant us the tawfiq to be amongst the sincere servants and helpers and supporters of our Imam, our awaited Savior, the 12th Imam, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. Let us end with the recitation of Dua al-Faraj. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. أحسن الله عليكم. Brothers and sisters, I've just received the news that one of our community members, Marhum Haj Hussein Jawad, Abu Ali Jawad, has passed away. Please remember him with the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. Let us gift him the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha and gift it to all the marhumin, especially Haj Habib Kukar, before it allows salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala